Dear students, in this video lecture, let us take up the concepts of lacings and batten columns. So usually these lacings or batten systems are provided for built-up columns. Now let us see what you mean by a built-up column. Usually whenever the loads are more and also for efficient use of material, built-up columns are used. These built-up columns are usually made up of two or more individual sections such as angles, channels or I sections and which are properly connected along their length by lacings or battening so that they act together as a single unit. Further, when lacings are provided with battens, the shear component of axial load tend to expand the column laterally. It is to be taken care always in the design of the laced or battened systems. These two pictures show the lacing systems here. So in this steel column, you can find the double lacing system. Here also, you can find the lacing system in the case of a mobile transmission tower. There are two types of lacing system. One is a single lacing system. The other one is a double lacing system. As far as possible, the lacing system should not be varied along the length of the member. This is a single lacing system. This is a double laced system. Now let us see what our code book says. IS 800-2007, clause number 7.6, page number 48. Before looking into the presentation, let us quickly look into the code book, page number 48, clause number 7.6. So the 7.6 page number 48 is for laced columns. In this, the important clause is 7.6.15. The effective slenderness ratio KL by E of laced column shall be taken as 1.05 times the KL by R0, the actual maximum slenderness ratio, in order to account for the shear deformation effect. So usually we have to take 5% extra of that of the actual slenderness ratio or actual maximum slenderness ratio, and 5% is taken to take care of the shear deformation effect. Here a built-up column is shown AB, and here about AA phase and BB phase the laced systems are provided. This 10-point A figure shows a single lacing system and 10-point B shows a double lacing system, and 10-point C shows a double laced and a single laced system with the cross numbers. These are called cross numberings. Further, if we look into clause 6.2, 6.3 and all, we will get the specifications related to the lacing bars or lacing flats. The angle of inclination is given in 7.6.4. The spacing is given in 7.6.5 and further 7.6.5.2 also. The 7.6.6 gives a clear indication or clear explanation regarding design of laced columns and the slenderness ratio of the laced columns also. Finally, how to attach the lacings to the main members is explained in 7.6.7, and we are going to end the design with the design of end tie plates. Usually the end tie plates are designed similar to the battens. 7.6.8 clause number. You can go through all these clauses when you have time. Please refer to the code book. We will summarize that in the form of a presentation. The angle of inclination theta according to clause 7.6.4 for single or double laced system, theta is varying from 40 to 70 degree. Normally it is taken as 45 degree. The slenderness ratio from clause 7.6.5.1, the KL by R, this is only for the laced uh, members, okay, or laced bars, not for the complete column. KL by R for each component of a column should not be greater than 50, or KL by R not greater than 0.7 times most favorable slenderness ratio of the member as a whole. Further, the slenderness ratio of lacing shall not exceed 145 according to clause 7.6.6.3. The effective length you see here, the effective length in this figure, it is clearly mentioned for the bolted connection. If it is a single lacing system, effective length equal to the L only, and For a double lacing system, effective length equal to 0.7 times the distance between inner end fasteners. If it is a welded connection, again it is 0.7 times the distance between inner ends of the welds. Now, width of the lacing bar. According to clause 7.6.2, minimum width of the lacing bar is always equal to 3 times nominal diameter of the bolt. For few of the nominal diameter of the bolt, the width of the lacing bar is shown here. If it is 20 mm diameter bolt, width of the lacing bar is 60. If it is 22, it is 65. If it is 18, 18 into 3 is 54. 54 we don't have, we have 55 size split, so 55. If it is 16, we go for 50. The thickness of the lacing, according to clause 7.6.3, for single lacing T should be greater than LE divided by 40. For double lacing T should be greater than LE divided by 60. In the case of a transverse shear, the transverse shear is very important. The lacing shall be proportioned always to resist a total transverse shear of Vt, and at any point on the length of the column or length of the member, the transverse shear should be at least equal to 2.5 percentage of the axial force in the column, and this force shall be divided equally among the lacing system in parallel planes according to the code. Now, after that, you do the check for compressive strength. For lacing using LE divided by R minimum and Fy equal to 250 MPa, let us find out FCD from IS 800 table 9 page number 42. So here for rectangular section buckling class C, always the lacing flats come under built up section, the class C. So you calculate what is the compressive load carrying capacity of the lacing PD equal to area of the lacing into FCD. If this PD is greater than the compressive force, the design is okay. In the next step, you go for check for tensile strength. There are two types of tensile strengths. We all are aware of that. One is the value zero point 0.9 b minus t into t into fu divided by gamma m1. This is nothing but design tensile strength against the rupture, and td equal to fy ag divided by gamma m0 is the design tensile strength against yielding of the cross section. Out of these two values, the least value is to be considered and it is to be compared with the compressive force. If this value is greater than the compressive force, the design is okay. Now, in the next step, you have to do the design of a bolted or welded connection. You know how to do the design for a bolted connection. You go for a shear capacity, and also you go for the bearing capacity of the bolt. Out of this, the minimum value is the bolt value. You calculate number of bolts. Similarly, you do the welded connection design. You have already studied in the second module the bolted and welded connections. Same type of connection is to be, or same type of design is to be carried out. The value of compressive force will be known. According to the force, you have to do the design. After that, we have to do the design of the tie plates. Usually these tie plates are provided at the top and only at the bottom of the laced columns. We have to do the design similar to the design of battens. We have to proportion the dimensions, and we have to provide the bolted connections. And finally, after doing all this design, we have to show the details in the form of a neat sketch. So these are a few of the code provisions we have discussed in this class. And also we have briefly discussed the steps to be followed in the design of laced columns, which are the built up columns. In the next class, we will take up a uh, design problem. In the design problem, you will clearly understand what are the design aspects or design steps to be followed one by one. If you have any queries, you can always approach me. Thanks for watching.